Hello, everyone, and welcome to IMAGI-NATION TV. And today we've got the youngsters segment. This week we're rapping on the idea of flipping the script and what it looks like to pick up the pen and start authoring your own story and where you go with that. And we've got a co-host joining us today. We've got Conor Gray-Ridings with us. Conor, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, man. Looking forward to hanging out with you today. What do you want to get out of this experience as your co-host IMAGI-NATION TV with us?
Just, some new outcomes, for the certain stuff.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think if we can get simple outcomes that can achieve new things, then we can, we can always keep growing. I was reading something last night about in this book called IQ-84, which is by this Japanese guy called Haruki Murakami. He's awesome, like this imagination genius. And he was saying, he's in this story, like one of the characters says, look, we're never going to know what's around the corner, but we still have to walk around and find out. And then the other analogy used was you pick up a stone, you throw it in the pond, you're not actually sure what's going to come out of the pond. You know, it might make a ripple, but you'll see what happens. So today you've thrown a stone in. Let's see what the ripples look like as we go through the show and have a good time as we do it, eh?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, when we talk about flipping the script, one of the things which is critical is to think about this idea as to whether we're going to play a part in someone else's story or whether we actually have the chance to write our own. And to get going today, we're going to jump into a 60-second challenge. And our first 60-second challenge partner that's joining us is Kath Keenan from the Story Factory, who do phenomenal work. Kath, it's great to have you with us today.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Jack.
Are you ready to take on the 60-second challenge and answer
the biggest question of all time? Sure, as I'll ever be. Yep.
All right, let's get ready to go. We'll get the timer started. What's your idea of perfect happiness?
Yeah. A shack by the beach, a book, and someone you love.
What's your greatest fear?
Being tickled.
What is your favorite occupation?
The one I have.
What do you most value in your friends?
Kindness.
Who are your favorite writers?
Oh, too many to list. But Elizabeth Strauss, Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'll leave it there, otherwise it'll get too long.
Which talent would you most like to have?
I'd like to be a better writer.
What do you consider your greatest achievement?
My kids are nearby. I'm going to say my kids, because I once answered differently and got in trouble.
If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be?
I would like to come back as a person who can dance really, really well.
Which historical figures do you most identify with?
I don't know that I identify with any, but there are lots that I admire. People who've invented vaccines at the moment are quite high on my list.
Yeah, great one. Kath, thanks for joining us on the 60-second challenge. Quickly, while we've got you, what does imagination and story mean for you?
Imagination and story is the world, like as you said before, like feeling that you are the owner of your story is hugely important, and that you have a story to share with the world is super important and at the heart of everything we do at the Story Factory. So we're all about getting kids excited to write and getting kids to sort of feel that their story is important, because it really is. And the more we hear from young people and the more we hear about their different stories, the better we will be as a nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're stoked to work with you today as a partner on the episode. And yesterday we kickstarted Imagine, the feature film, which is a co-written experiment where we've created one live Google Doc, and we've said to kids and to people all around the world, come together and pick up the pen and write a story, and let's see what happens. Let's see, when we just put the title Imagine there, where we go and what journeys we go on, what we uncover about ourselves and about those around us. And then during July and August, we're releasing 500 film grants where people will be able to get themselves one of these Imagine hoodies and go off and be an official filmmaker on the feature film Imagine. And then from September till next year, we're going to create a feature film. And I think part of the challenge is in creation is actually taking that imagination into action. And yeah, we're pumped to work with you, Kath, to spread the word and see if we get some youngsters on there having the chance to write the next chapter and have their name as a credit on a feature film, which would be a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, great. We would love to put it out to our kids, Jack.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. And we're jumping over to our school partner for today, Winmalee High School. And we have the Deputy Principal, Chris Bendergast, with us. Chris, how are you?
In the workshop.
Awesome. Good to see. What's your favourite tool that's behind you, the one that's been the most effective for you in your process of design tech?
Being lazy, it's probably power tools in the other cupboard. So they're all hand tools.
Technological evolution. All right, let's get the 60-second challenge ready to rumble. We'll get the timer ready. Okay, which talent would you most like to have?
Charm.
What words or phrases do you most overuse?
Adapt, improvise, overcome.
What you're not on? Yep.
I'll sort that out later.
What quality do you most like in puppets?
Their comedic facial expressions.
What quality do you most value in people?
Their comedic facial expressions. Humour, good humour. Humour is very important. If there's no laughter in a day, then it's a very sad day.
What about you is most often overlooked?
What's most overlooked?
Yeah. I think we've just had an audio connection go ballistic at your end, Chris. So that was some good control from the school as you're about to reveal a big secret. So it looked like the IT powers got in and just put some sort of audio drill behind us, and we couldn't get the last 5 seconds. So we'll wait in anticipation and fill in the rest of the answer for us in the future. We'll come back to you and see if the audio is just working quickly. No, we don't have you. The power drills have started. Chris, thank you for joining us and being a part of IMAGI-NATION TV and taking on the 60-second challenge. And great to have Winmalee High School as a partner for the show today. All right, we're going to jump into our 180 seconds of wizardry. Connor, how did your deputy principal go?
No, I reckon he ran pretty good, to be honest. I reckon he smashed that.
Yeah, awesome. And then what about Kath? How do you think Kath went?
Oh, I reckon she also smashed that as well, especially with the dancing.
Yeah, glowing reviews. All right. Let's get into catching up with our wizard for the day. And today we have Dorcas Marpagela here with us. Dorcas, how are you? Looking forward to you being the wizard on IMAGI-NATION TV. Your 180 seconds is all yours. Off you go.
Off I go. Hi, everyone. My name is Dorcas Marpagela. I work here at AIM full-time. I am the program manager leading the African Australian stream here in Melbourne. But I'm also very active in my community here in the African community. And so I am also the founder, producer, and host of Oz African TV. And Oz African TV is a platform that celebrates African people of diaspora here in Australia. And there are many reasons why I started it. But one of them is when the mainstream Australian media chose to showcase an askew view or narrative of the African people, in particular young Black men, I thought, why not beat the drum of what's going right in my community in order to let in more of what's going right. And so, yeah, that's part of why Oz African TV was born. And another important reason for me to have started this platform is because of my children. So I moved to Australia 13 years ago, and when I came here, I just watched TV as a passerby, or rather the media in general. And so, as you know, today we're talking about flipping the script, and it just seemed like people who look like me and my children were being written out of history. And I thought, hey, here's an opportunity to bring my skills and my connections and all that I've learned since 2003 when I started working in the TV and film industry to the plate. And then we can help flip the script, create some, self-reflection and diversity. And my children are here because I'm working from home. I'll come in a sec. Someone's here to see me. But anyway, I'm going to throw it to an awesome video just to show you a little bit of the wizardry that I do. See ya.
Dorcas, thank you for joining us as a wizard today, and thank you for flipping the script. What's been the greatest lesson you've learned since saying, hey, I'm going to get out there and try and author a different story?
I have learned that it's important to show up, and this is one of the things that we do at AIM as well, that, you know, if you start something, it's important to see it through, be consistent, and just, show up for what it is that you believe in.
I remember interviewing Taika Waititi in Hollywood a few years ago for AIM TV, and Taika just said, finish what you start. And this sort of seems like such a simple idea, but it's something that really, you know, allows you to separate yourself from those people that talk and walk the talk. So thanks for walking the talk, Dorcas, and thanks for joining us today on IMAGI-NATION TV. Conor, how did Dorcas go? What did you learn from that experience?
That, just Africans have Australian Africans have a place to go, I guess, and they learn more about their culture, I guess.
Yeah, I think finding our humanity and how much we have in common as well is such a big thing as you get the chance to, you know, as I've got the chance to meet all these different cultures and different people around the world. Some of us might look different in terms of our skin color, but we've got pretty similar shapes in terms of our hands, our legs, our head. Most of our body is almost exactly the same, and our skin color is a thing that's different, and that's a pretty small amount considering everything else which is similar. So yeah, it's been cool to work with all these different African Australian kids and lots of people across the continent of Africa, and just see all these people that are human. I think racism sort of such a confusing cloak sometimes, and that's just my collection of thoughts, Conor.
Yeah, that's good thoughts.
Good thoughts. Let's keep moving, hey? Let's jump into our new president of IMAGI-NATION. Today we have Matt Curtis joining us. Matt, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Stoked for you to be the president. Let's get this party started, and let's, for the next 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Curtis, the president of IMAGI-NATION. Let's go.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you. Well, I guess as the president of IMAGI-NATION, one thing I stand for is imagination as a whole thing itself. And with this whole COVID-19 situation happening nowadays, it's leaving a lot of people at home, lonely. So people are going to have to use their imagination to keep themselves occupied, A big thing that's happened with the COVID-19 that relates with imagination is that I guess a lot of people are picking up new hobbies, picking up new things, new skills they can do, which is great. But on the other side of that, a lot of people are quite scared, because a lot of people are unemployed. A lot of people are at home. People are scared and unsure, I think, of what the future actually quite holds. So we need imagination and positive imagination, so they can think of new ways to actually new ideas to live their lives, to to get a hobby, because that's a big thing people can use to push imagination. People can do painting, singing, music, writing, or do fashion. It's a big thing. It's great. It's a way people use it to escape their reality. It's a way to be something that you don't really are. Like when I was younger, I used to have these Spider-Man toys, right? I wanted to be Spider-Man, swinging webs and that. Because when you're bored or lonely, you can use imagination to express those emotions. And with friends, you can play with friends. When you're kids, you go out and pretend you're in a rocket ship flying around the space and all that. So yeah, I do think imagination is a good way that we can break set things in our lives. We can, as the whole theme for this is, flip the script. We can be something that we wouldn't even think of being, but we can be that with a good sense of imagination, I guess. So yeah, that's what I think about that. That's the president of imagination. So yeah.
Awesome, cool. Matt. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for that, Matt.
Yeah, you go, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. If you could build one thing to help COVID-19 and that, what would you invent?
That's a big question. I think I would build a massive pool just full of hand sanitizer so we can swim in that. Of course, not swallowing the hand sanitizer, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Hey, Matt, one of the things which stood out when you were talking is that we have to do this. We've got, I just believe that, I want to live a life with hope. I want to live a life with positivity. I want to try and get up every day and make something happen if I can. And then recognizing, as you did, that a lot of people are hurting, a lot of people are scared, a lot of people are in pain. In a few of the countries we work in, the biggest food crisis, one of the biggest food crises we've ever had is happening right now in Zimbabwe. We work in Uganda, where there's 10% of the food that's been allocated is enough to be there and feed people at the moment. They're just having the outbreak of COVID moving. And then in Australia, we have huge challenges with kids who don't have any access to internet, have real challenges at home. Lots of places don't have basic healthcare and services. And so to be able to walk with that knowledge and still be hopeful, and then to go, we actually have to find ways out of this. And there's critical moments where no matter what age you are in your space in the human spectrum, the world needs you to do stuff. And I'd say with the way you're thinking, please keep taking that thinking into action. Make the pool, make something, do something. And the more that you do that, the more we have a chance of moving the dial and inventing our way out of it. So I love that idea that we've got to invent our way out of it. Like, it's critical.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thanks for joining us. You got my vote as president for the day. So
thanks for having me.
Good hanging out with you. All right, our next president of imagination, we've got Arne for Aui. Arne, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good. Well, let's give you the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Arne for Aui, our president of imagination from Blacktown Girls High School.
Okay, so I decided to write a bit of my speech. So what do you think when you think of what do you imagine when you think of the future? Do you see yourself in it making a change for good? A quote that Albert Einstein once said, "The true sign is not knowledge but imagination." And someone else once said, "Your imagination should be used not to escape reality but to create it." With these quotes, I kind of as I was reading them, I thought it's true, like the second one I just shared, how you shouldn't use your imagination to escape your reality. You should use it to help like change things and make things better for everybody around you. And like the question for our future, what kind of reality what kind of reality is your mind imagining in the next chapter of our world? Through our imagination, the options are limitless. We must feel free to imagine, because imagination unlocks creativity, and creative solutions are what is needed for this next chapter in our world. I believe that imagination is so important to move on in the next chapter of this world, because when we have an imagination and we put our mind into it, we are able to change and mold the world into a better place. I feel like with our imaginations, the things we can imagine, if we put our minds to them, we can help make the world a better place for the future. In my imagination, I see how my generation, we are the next leaders. So with the things that we can imagine, or the things we put our minds to, we can help make the world a better place, like stopping like the wars and like the homeless people and many things like that that can help everybody. Yeah. Okay,
I know there's a huge round of applause. If we were in an audience, everyone would be standing up and clapping, but I'll give you like a solo round of applause. Hey, the Atlanta Lloyd on the chat room said, love that Einstein quote, Arne. I think, and Benita said, imagine your reality. Everything you're saying, I agree with. And our challenge is then to go take that idea and go, what are the things we want to see in the imagining? So when we want to write our own story, whether we're young or we're old, imagination, I reckon, is the first doorway. So tick, you walk through there. All right, what's next? What are you actually going to design? You know, what's the world going to look like? What's the specific thing? So are we going to have fast trains moving around Australia that are powered by seaweed farms? And are the seaweed farms going to take, you know, if 9% of the ocean was filled with seaweed farms, they would take 53 billion tonnes out of the atmosphere of carbon dioxide a year. So working out, okay, what are our practical solutions as we go from imagining to then shifting the way the system works? And if we can crack those two together, we're going to see unbelievable change in our lifetime, and hopefully unbelievable positive change. So thank you for standing up to be the president of Imagination and giving me hope and inspiration today, and making me want to go and work harder as well. Okay, Connor, how are we going? We're midway through the show. How you handling it? How are you finding the vibe on Imagination TV? Are you keeping up with everything?
Yeah, I think everyone's, answering pretty good. I think everyone, I've learned a lot today.
What's something you've learned?
Oh, just like how there's a new African community where people can go to, inspiration from the positivity and the imagination presidents.
It's funny, that inspiration feeling, like there's something happens when someone says, oh, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to take on supporting people and lifting people up. And my partner said yesterday on the show, if we take a yes and attitude, when someone offers an idea, instead of just like laughing at them and pulling them down, like that's easy. Anyone can be a punk and be like, oh, you suck, you tried, oh, I'm going to bully you. But if you go, give space to lift someone up, my gosh, the energy that moves through you, like you feel good. You're like, oh, I feel cool.
Yeah.
Someone else feels cool, and you can feel that kindness moving, and then you leave the day and you feel better each day. And there's something in that, I reckon.
Yeah, you go to bed with a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
Just thinking about all the people you've helped, and
so
see what you've done.
Do they, right? And then they pass on a smile to someone else, and that's another virus. Like hope's a virus that can move, and so is smiles and kindness as they move through people. All right, we're going to move into our failure time activity, and we are writing a feature film. So if you missed it at the top, if you want to get yourself the chance to be able to create this feature film called Imagine, head to aimmentoring.com, put in a short application, and you can get yourself an Imagine hoodie, and then you can go and be a creator on the film, and you can create one small scene, or you can create a whole part of the film as we bring it to life. And today we have our failure time crew focused on writing on the film Imagine. So we're going to jump into a quick video to introduce them, and then we're going to get the Google Doc up and we're going to keep writing. Okay, today in our Failure Time special, as we write a feature film, we have Hope with us, and we have Paris Lee, and we have Tate. How are you all?
Good, you?
Yeah, good, thanks, cuz. Ready to rumble. Hope, how are you feeling?
Good.
Tate, you've got you, and then Paris Lee and Paris Lee, how are you? Sorry, just checking on you.
Good. How are you going?
Very good. All right, ready to write a feature film?
Yeah.
Yep, let's get into it.
Okay, absolutely. So the opening scene, where our crew got to yesterday, and just remember, yesterday we had a world-renowned actor and writer and creator. We had a world-performing superstar puppet comedian, and then we had brilliant illustrator, writer, and comic book creator and storyteller as well. So they've helped us shape a little bit of this, and I reckon we can take them down and it's about positivity. I reckon we can build on what they've created. All right. So what they've got is, they said there's like this beginning of the world where there's roughly a 15-year-old kid who doesn't fit in. So we might have to establish a little bit of how they don't fit in. So today I want to go and write scene 1 with you. So the scene is there's a 15-year-old kid that they don't quite fit in. And then they walk into their room, and their room is the messiest room you could ever imagine. So there's clothes and everything all through it. You have to actually climb through the clothes to get to the bed. Kid gets on the bed, and then when this kid goes to sleep, just as they're about to go to sleep, this huge claw comes up over the bed, and it's a big puppet claw, and it like pulls them under the bed, and they disappear into this. Wait, let me find it. They disappear into oceans before anything has existed, dream space, lightning exploding, bubbling sulfur pits, and that's a world. So there's some interaction where the kid's going back and forward in between that world. The mission at this stage, I think, is that we're trying to, or the kid's trying to find out who their name is. They don't quite know who their name is and who they are. And so today, what I want to focus on is 2 things. I want to have a play with some top level ideas, like what's an obstacle? Do we think that's a good start to a story? If it is, what can we build on? And then we're going to have a crack at writing scene 1. Okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Firstly, what do you think of with that? What would you add to that story if you're taking a yes and attitude of what's there? Before we get into scene 1, what would you build on that idea? And you can just start with maybe this. So just say anything.
I kind of have a boat. It's just the only boat in the ocean. Kind of just flown out there.
It's got to be like a really imaginative boat. It's not just a random boat. It's got to be shaped like something.
Okay, I'm gonna write for a little bit. You guys just go for it. Just improv and whatever comes in your mind. Just build ideas.
When he's on the boat, you could see the distance of like all of those different types of worlds that you mentioned before.
And he's got to pick one of them. Like he steers the boat towards one, and that's where his journey begins.
And the obstacle could be like trying to get, make his decision on which world he wanted to go to, and trying to get there over the obstacles of the waves.
Yeah, that's good. Why does he want to choose a world? Why is he in a boat? Or is it a he? Sorry, what's our character? That's a big assumption from me. Why do they want to choose a world? Why are they in a boat?
I'd say the boat's metaphorical. I'd say the boat it doesn't look like a boat. It would be maybe a cloud or even a hoodie. And he's sitting on it, and it's kind of just floating there. And then he arrives, and the ocean kind of splits in 3. And it's more of he picks a place because it's which place will he fit in best.
Yeah, I think that. Why are we on a boat? Why do we want to choose something? What's at stake here?
Fitting in, having a place where you belong.
And why?
Okay, he wants to fit in, so all the 3 different places is kind of feel like they'd be completely different places. So got to make the right choice, or else he'll be in the wrong place for him. He's got to feel like he's fitting in. So kind of going in between them, exploring them, finding the one that's right for him.
See, that's such a cool idea, I reckon, like that tension, because then you start to get, if you're in the right place, if you make what you said just then, you make the right choice in the wrong place, or you make the wrong choice in the right place. And maybe we can't ever, maybe there's never going to be perfect key, perfect hole. Maybe it's always going to be a little bit off, and that's okay. And maybe it's making the tension is you're always in the wrong place making the right choice, or you're always in the right place making the wrong choice. And maybe that's world 1 or world 2, and then world 3 might be you free yourself of choices, or you free yourself and find a way to act. Or
the last place could be like just like going off the freedom thing. It could be him finding his identity through the first 2 worlds, and then once he gets to the third one, he's like found who he is, and the third one's just where he can be himself and no one's going to judge him, and there's no like racism or criticism or judgment on anyone, and everyone can just be who they need to be and just be happy.
so that's cool. And I reckon that will have people watching it for, if you've got an engaged audience, you'll have people watching it for a certain period of time. What's the drama? What's the opposition, Parsley? What's at stake? And who are the bad people, or who are the enemy, or is there an enemy? And, how do we get the grit into it so it doesn't feel like a really poorly made Disney movie?
I guess you could have like bullies in like one of the first 2 worlds, and they could be people judging him and pushing him down and pushing his self-esteem and self-confidence down. So his obstacle is to overcome that and to stand up to them and say, hey, that's not right. You can't say that about me.
And as well, as soon as he kind of fits in, kind of everything goes dark, and he kind of just wakes up again in his room with maybe one of his parents yelling at him to get up, to do something. So when he's finally comfortable, he's taken out of that, and he's put back into a situation where he's
uncomfortable,
have to face things again.
Yeah, I love that idea, because and that's real, isn't it? Like we might have a fleeting moment of being like, and then someone yells at you like, oh gosh, okay, I've got to work this out, or I've got to work that out. We have little moments of joy, and maybe the challenge in life is finding the skills to be able to take those little moments of joy and just be like, yes, and have them fuel you for the next period of the challenge. Hey, Parsley, with those first 2 worlds, I just want to get those notes. You're saying there's bullies in the first 2 worlds potentially.
Yeah, so they could be bullies, say, in the second world, because the first world he's recognizing that it's not his type of place to be, and then the second world can be like not his type of place, but then having the obstacle chucked in with the bullies, and then the third one could be the freedom one.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the first scene quickly. So we'll take a couple more minutes on the first scene and just have a crack at what that could look like. Have you guys seen any Studio Ghibli films?
Yes.
So our main guy is Hayao Miyazaki, right? Who's made like a lot of the major films. So you check out Making of Ponyo. It's a pretty cool one. But he sweats all his time on the first scene. He's like, if I can get that frame right, it can open up the whole film. So like, I don't know if you've seen Ponyo, but Ponyo's like so gnarly in the opening scene. It's these amazing, what are they, Tate? They're like jellyfish, maybe.
Yeah. It's little kind of just.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little world. All right, let's have a crack at Act 1, Scene 1. What does it look like? What's the first scene?
It could be on that boat or the cloud that Hope mentioned, like going into the dream.
Yeah, describe it for me. Just give me as much detail as possible on that, and I'll just write for this next little bit.
The cloud kind of have mist over the water. You can step on it and you won't fall through. So like a positive effect to it.
And then as he's stepping onto the clouds, it could go into him seeing the 3 different worlds and having to make that decision which one to go to first.
I reckon the world should be like closer and then further away. Let's, like Paris said, it's about freedom. So like the furthest world is his biggest journey to get to. So he chooses like the first world and it's closer. So he stops at that island first.
You have to work a lot more to get the.
And what's the battle? Is a battle here? Sorry, Tate. Is a battle about? Is it about us inside, or is it about the outside world? Like, where do we want to see the transformation of our main character?
It should be mental. Like, he needs to first accept himself and realize where he belongs before he can go back into reality and pick where he fits.
All right, what about this as a start? Just taking your words. So maybe the first shot is right into their eye. We don't know whether it's a man or a woman or where they are, even if it's human yet. But let's say the character, we go into their eye and we see a reflection, and the reflection is the ocean. And then somewhere off in the distance, we've got our three worlds. And then we start to make our way out slowly, and we see this mist, cloud, magical piece and someone alone in a boat. Cool with that?
Yep, sounds good.
Sounds good, yeah.
All right. Gang, you just started writing a feature film. That's failure time done.
Awesome.
Jump on the Google Doc and I've tried to add in your names next to it when you've added ideas. So feel free to build on it. We're going to be writing for the next month, and we'd love to hear your voices and stories as we're creating it. So good on you for imagining with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Pleasure. See you all soon. Connor, what'd you think of that?
There's a lot you can build on, I guess. Like for the opening scene, I reckon just like you could add a lot more to it. I feel like there's a lot more potential to it as well.
Give me an example.
Well, if I was personally doing it, I would make the scene him waking up in water, and as he rises to the surface, somehow he can it's like him not rising to the water, like it's him like getting pulled up through the water, and he wakes up on a beach, I guess, or like on on the beach, I guess, and he looks above him and he can see 3 islands, floating islands, I guess, but they're in the distance. And as he roams the beach, he would find like an old man, for instance, and he says, it might be like or if you want to do it like for positivity or like inspiration, that you could always do. It's maybe it's not about him being bullied, but maybe he is the bully, and the point is to reform him. So what you could do is you can make that not an old man, but a person that he has bullied in the past. And
yeah, that's cool. Let me write that down. You just given 500 massive ideas. We could have the old man in the future island, could be someone he's bullied in the past, and maybe our main character is the bully. That's interesting. Cool as well. Connor, you have to get into that document now and do some writing, because I've done way too much writing for you. This co-hosting deal, we'll share. Make sure we got the link afterwards. And I'd love to hear those ideas. They're really cool imagination. I love what you did there, which was you just open. Listening to you, you just kept opening doors. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not going to stop here. Like island, maybe it's here. And then as you were going from the island to like the water, every step was a jump into something more far out. And then we got this really cool insight flip, which was, maybe he's the bully. So we've got to, often with stories and life, we're always drafting. Like, so if we get 7 out of 10 on a test, that's not the test. The test is what you're doing 30 years after doing that test. And all these different stages are just little drafting moments for us to go, okay, how do we build and build up the idea? All right, we've got Only Everything on the chat line saying, I'd love to see the character have a friend of some kind, perhaps a dog or pet silkworm, or maybe an animated hoodie as previously mentioned. Everyone needs a trusty sidekick. We'd love to see you jump onto the doc and add your thoughts into it, only everything. And if that is you, Jack, behind that, then Jack would love to see you go and do that. And that's not me. I think it's Jack from Only Everything who's writing that. Lisa Toolan, great storytelling, youngsters. I agree with you. Lisa, all right, gang. We're going to go and catch up with Ben Akanyon Jr. from Nigeria, who's given us a video message about being brave in the times of COVID-19. And we're doing this each week, and we're going to create a small book at the end of COVID-19, hopefully when we come out of it with a vaccine and we've reimagined the world that we're in. And it'll be video diaries of young people from around the world about being brave during these times.
Hey there, kids of the world. I'm Benjamin, a 28-year-old graduate living in the north of Nigeria. COVID-19 hit the world by storm, and although we here in Nigeria knew about it, the talk around the time went as, it's not for us. But with the passing of time, some began to realize the severity of the case. But that was only after we came to our country, people died, did it sink in that the virus was real. Now, the inability to move around as I please has become increasingly stifling, as there is little or nothing to do. But I put up with it, because I know that lives are being saved every day. I prevent myself from being used to spread the virus around. Right here in the north, awareness of COVID-19 and the steps to protect ourselves are being treated as false or rumor that have nothing to do with us. Therefore, anytime I go get groceries, I try to remind those around me that the virus is not a joke and they need to take steps to prevent the virus from spreading, getting themselves and others infected. My father is a big inspiration to me because from him I learned that no matter the situation you are in, you also have to know that there are those that have it worse than you do. He's a small business owner within the hospitality industry, but he has put forth his best in maintaining at least 50% of his staff so they could also have some support for themselves and their families in these times. My daily routine at the beginning of the lockdown was sporadic at best, due to fears and insecurities about the virus. But I watched the news and realized I'm not the only one who has these fears. From then on, I kept to my previous sleep schedule. I tried some light workouts in the morning, and of course, for the rest of the day, doing what I can to keep others busy and take their mind off the lockdown, while also trying to earn something for myself. Well, these are just some of my thoughts and my way of contributing and being brave during this period. Use your imagination and see what you can do to inspire others and the world around you to do more.
Welcome to IMAGI-NATION TV. Stoked to have you as the artist of the week that we're chatting to. How are you going today?
Yeah, I'm going good.
Hey, tell me, what does art mean to you, and what makes you put color onto a blank piece of paper?
Well, art, it's, well, I don't really know, but art is like, it means to like put your thoughts and stuff onto a like piece of paper or a canvas, and it could be put in any type of way and form. And like it doesn't have to necessarily be your thoughts. It can be like something like a shape or colors to represent your thoughts. and yeah.
Awesome. Hey, we've got Crystal on the chat line saying, yeah, Flicky. Hey, when you create, I love that idea that, I think with words, and English is just one language of thousands and thousands of languages we have around the world. And, in Australia, hundreds of languages across our country with our First Nations people and lots of different nations, let alone all of the different languages that have come to this country alone, and then those around the world. And still with all of that, words can only express so much. They can't necessarily tell us all of the different elements of a story. And I love the artworks that are being featured today that you've created, and the colour through them, because they can talk to you in a way that words never can. And that's a pretty cool skill to be able to have. Do you remember the first time you shared a piece of art with someone and it made them feel something? And do you remember watching them be like, oh, they reacted, and how that felt for you?
The first time I showed art to someone was my mom, and she reacted very positively with it, and it made me feel really happy, because I was insecure about my art like for a really long time, and I just like getting the support, and it's really nice. It's a good feeling.
Well, I think your art is awesome, and you should keep creating. And the more that you create, the more colour that'll come into the world. And I think there should be more and more and more and more colour. So thank you, Flick, for doing your art and for creating. And thanks for joining us on Imagination TV today.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Connor, that brings us to the end of the show. How's it been for you? A bit of a roller coaster. What do you reckon?
Yeah, a pretty big roller coaster, but it was a joyful one, Yeah, but,
awesome.
How was yours? How was your time here?
Yeah, I had a good time, I think. Like, it's, we look back and we went on a bit of a trip. It was great to have Cassidy and Sophie and Paige join us in a live audience as well, listening in and being a part of it from Winmalee High. And yeah, I thought that, I thought Chris was talking about humour was really powerful, and Kath talking about wanting to be a better writer, that we can always want to overcome, and Matt and Ane both talking about how this is so important to invent and to create, and that we can do that now. And I thought Paris Lee, Hope and Tate were just gnarly with their imagination. We sort of jumped to these really cool areas, and Ben was great, and Flick's artwork is just really special, and you did a really great job at listening and thinking and just being yourself. So it was a great show. I had a good time.
Yeah,
Not to mention Dorcas, who just has done brilliant work as a wizard, taking us to all these other areas as well.
Yeah, that was it's been a day, eh? It's been a live stream.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap up Imagination TV for today, Connor. It's been a day, eh? We'll see you all tomorrow. Go to aimmentoring.com, grab yourself an imagination hoodie to be a creator and make this feature film. And let's see if we can flip the script and do something that's never been done before. Let's see if we can have thousands of people come together from all these different backgrounds around the world, and with positivity and with imagination, try and create a piece of art that can inspire us to come out of COVID and then well into the future to build the world that we want to see, as we invent maybe fast trains and seaweed farms and a fairer world economically, and a better share of food around the world, and hopefully better opportunities for all people as we try and navigate the 21st century. So let's see if this film can play a part in that. You guys look after yourselves. Connor, thanks for being an awesome co-host today, and we'll catch you all tomorrow on Imagination TV.